Hello there, my name is Bruce Rain from Brankus Creations and welcome to my stream. And oh, it looks like I'm completely and totally out of sync with my camera. I have no idea why. We try a different camera here. A nice big red blob there. Oh well, never mind. So quick hello GT, Sorcerer Stan, Macboy 91 SI, Thomas Armstrong, I Recycle Apple Mac. Steve is here. I think I got everyone. Did I get everyone? I think I got everyone. Michael Ware, hello. Yeah, anyone who's sort of sitting quietly, feel free to jump on and say good day. So, is my audio out of sync with my picture? Because that's certainly what I'm seeing. Yeah, out of sync mania. Awesome. So, it was all beautiful until I actually pressed the start streaming button or pressed the go live button. Everything was just looking perfect. So, what if I change my view to here? No, it is totally out of sync. Let's see what the best option here is. What if I were to press stop streaming here? I'm going to try an experiment. Hopefully it doesn't completely and totally cut me off, but I will. I'm going to do something here and we'll just see what happens. So just bear with me. I'm going to go black for a second. One, two, three. No, it's still way off. Way out. Okay, I've got one more thing I can try here. So just bear with me for a sec. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. If I switch off streaming, it all comes back into sync again. So let's see if there's something that I can actually do to alter this. Beep, 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 beep. Advanced audio properties. Here we go. Sync offset. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's a little bit better. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Am I going one way or the other? 1, 2, 3. I'm going the other way. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, close enough. It'll do. Okay, so quick hello to everyone. Sorry I haven't streamed in such a long time. I've been extremely busy. It's no excuse, I know, but just been crazy. I've really wanted to get out here and stream today. I've kind of made it my task to try and get through some of this recapping that I've got. I've got mountains of boxes and recapping and stuff to do, so it's I just need to try and get through as much of it as I can. My day job has been very busy, and which then makes it very difficult for me to get out and do this stuff. And then, of course, the other thing is I got a 3D printer recently, and I have been 3D printering a lot. And I'll just go talk about that in a minute, because, I mean, for example, I've 3D printed this, which is a little holder for my soldering iron tips. A little two-tiered thing. I can move that one. I never use that one. Never use that one. Move that one. Use that one sometimes. Sometimes. I've got two of those, so I don't need that there. So anyhow, that's my cute little. That's my spare tip. This is the tip that I use the most, and that's my spare. So it's still a little bit out of sync here at the moment. I apologise. It is just drifting in and out. It's probably this computer, or it could be YouTube, and we can blame anyone we like, really. Mike, hello. Thank you for joining the stream. So obviously, quick shout out while people are watching here for Mike's Mac Shack and Mac 84, both fantastic channels. Mike from Mike's Mac Shack has had some lifestyle changes of late. It's not my place to judge whether they are better or worse, but they have certainly helped his live streaming. So Mike is streaming a lot, and he's been sort of repairing stuff and breaking things as well. And so jump on and have a look. And of course, Steve Mac 84, got to check that out as well. If people have not seen his part 1 to the Mac clones video, get over, watch it as soon as I've finished my live stream, because that is an absolutely fantastic video. The amount of research that's gone into it, I mean, isn't just someone saying, "Hey, did you know Apple made clones?" And this part 1 is, you know, is really interesting stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff there that I had no idea about. When I was referring to breaking things, I was mainly referring to when you were working on that G4, I think it was, and the fan just fell apart partway through the work you were doing. That I found kind of amusing. That was from Mike, that is. Oh, look at all these people. Crazy Tech Reviews. Hello. Siesta Loudest. Think, yeah, no. So Nathan Fulton. Who else have we got here? Isakil Blah. Is it blurry to everyone else too? I would hope not. Just double check the settings down the bottom right hand corner. Make sure you're streaming at the top res. I should be streaming at 1080p. So, what else have we got? Sad Mac 356. I don't think I said hello to you. And there we go. So anyhow, it is, for people in the wintry part of the world, it is blazingly hot here at the moment. Where I'm sitting at the moment, it's around about 34 degrees Celsius, which is, I don't know, 90, something like that. Outside, it's 36 degrees, so the air conditioner's not making too much difference. But when it blows directly on me, it does make me feel better. But it is hot here. Hot. The forecast today is for, I think, 41 degrees Celsius, which is, I don't know, 100? Something like that. Okay, all right, good. Everything's sorted. Good stuff. So anyhow, one thing I just wanted to mention very quickly, because I'm often talking to people about getting equipment with budgetary constraints, and I have from time to time mentioned this. This is a, was it TS100 soldering iron, and that's it. That's the whole unit. That's the control panel there. And there's your tip, and there's your soldering iron, and then you basically plug it in here. You can either plug it in via USB to program the thing, because you can actually do firmware updates on it, or you plug it in via this here to supply it with power. Now, I went absolutely overboard, and I put together a really big, beefy power supply for this, but you can get away with just a wall wart on these, and I think that it takes between 12 to 24 volts. So you can supply it with anything between 12 to 24 volts, and it uses 17 to 65 watt. So anyhow, you do want a decent power supply with it, but you know, this is a really good budget option. Now, what I really don't like about these are the tips. They're a T12 tip, or a sort of a modified T12 tip, and you know, I always go on about my T12 tips. I do like them, but what I don't like about these is where your handle is here. This is where you sort of hold it. You can't really hold it any closer. Look like that woman from that stock photo that everyone puts up on the forums every now and again of a woman holding a soldering iron like this, pretending to solder. You have to hold it here like this. Now, what I don't like about that is for the precision work, you've got your hands are quite a long way away from the tip. If we compare that to this one here, you can see that when I'm holding this like that, I've only got that distance from the tip, so I can get a lot of control there, whereas this one's a lot further away. So that's really my only issue with it. Now, the joys of the old 3D printer, I found this little guy. I found this, a model for this, which I then just printed off Thingiverse, or as I like to call it, Thingiverse, just to upset Dana from Dana Does Stuff. Mess with his OCD. Like the other day, I 3D printed a TARDIS out of the wrong color. That got him. Anyhow, this little tiny weeny little model here is kind of an adapter that allows you to use this part of a Hakko soldering station. Now, of course, these can be purchased on eBay for really cheap. Because you know you can just get knockoffs. So what you basically do is you get your TS100, and you unscrew. Oh, Mike, thank you very much. That's much appreciated. Mike's feeling very generous today. Right, live stream tomorrow, 2 p.m. It's Eastern time. Buy some filament for your printer. So thank you very much. I will buy some filament for my printer. So anyhow, yeah. Make sure you catch Mike's live stream. So anyhow, I've taken off the tip. We're out of sync again. Taken off the tip, and I have got my little adapter, and he sits like that. Just pokes on top, and then the only downside to this is you do need to actually hold this in kind of with it. Well, you don't have to, but it's not a bad idea to actually screw this in, tighten it up. So I'm now going to tighten this up here so it doesn't go anywhere. There we go. And now we have a TS. It's a little bit heavy at the back here, but we now have a TS100 where you can hold it nice and close up to the tip. It's even got a couple little legs for resting. So there it is. So anyhow, I just thought I would mention that for folks out there that might be looking for budget options. Find someone with a 3D printer that can print that little stand, and you're away. All right, let's get rid of this. Let's get some work done here, shall we? So as I mentioned in my, I'll tell you what, I'm going to change this camera. I'm going to do this, and then the out of sync may not be quite so annoying. Whew, hot. I am so hot. I'm so hot. Okay. All right. So far out of sync, it's driving me bananas. Is it common for 2FX boards to be outfitted with aluminium electric capacitors? The electrolytic capacitor, the ones I've encountered in the US, have always had tantalums originally, excluding the two near the startup circuit. You would be referring to this one here and this one here. And it is, I've probably only worked on maybe 4 FX boards, so I can't necessarily speak for all of them. But I can tell you that I've probably had about 50-50 in terms of ones that are, some that are electrolytic all the way through, and other ones that are tantalum. These are all tantalums, and then just these ones here, electrolytic. I've got a 2FX board here somewhere. I think this is a 2FX board, yeah. So this is a 2FX board that suffered from quite a bit of damage, and this is another one that has the tantalums there, and the electrolytics here. But I did 2 2FX boards for, well, this is for the one customer, and the other one was a completely electrolytic one. So so anyhow, this becomes a relatively small recapping job because all we have to do is replace these axials. I'm not as badly out of sync now, a little bit, but oh yeah, I'm back in. It's all good. I just wish it would stop going out. Yes. Okay. So anyhow, so this 2FX board is one where we only have these two, but we've also got here, we've got an axial electrolytic. Sorry about the band-aid on my finger, or the plaster, or whatever you call it. We call them band-aids here. It's brand name. I've got these axials, axial. They all have to be replaced. Well, I'm going to replace them. They don't have to be, but I'm going to replace them. And then these two electrolytics here. So this one's actually a relatively straightforward recapping job. Thankfully, the person who has given this to me to recap has actually given me some RAM to use with it, because I don't have any. So, right. So, yeah. So I probably should just start working on this, shouldn't I? I've got so much to do. I'll just get through it. Does anyone have any questions about anything? Feel free to ask me stuff while I'm working away. You know, pretty much anything. If I can't answer it, I'll say I can't answer it. But right. Yeah. Got my little fume extractor here. Very important. Oh, it's hot. Ouch. Right, now let's jump across to the microscope and check and see how we are going for focus there. I'm going to focus on that. Okay, so how about I go like this? I'll go focus, focus. That's pretty focused. That's pretty focused. Yep. Woo! Woo-wee, hot. Wasn't really given a lot of options in terms of temperature for live streaming. Yesterday it was 40 degrees. Today it's 41, so it's not like I could go yesterday and be cooler. I probably just need to stream really early in the day. Hello, Oz Retrocom, also known as Tone. How are you? I hope you are well. Let's take this guy off and try not to melt anything. Just what I need, a little bit of hot air in here. It's going to smell a bit because it's got some dust on it. That's going to burn. Ooh, and I can smell some leaky caps too. Oh, I missed that smell. Not. Just getting rid of the component adhesive there because it's I don't want it there. All right, let's get over here. What am I going to use? I'm going to use this. Don't want to melt these RAM slots. Anyone who has contacted me about recapping or contacted me about recapping work of yours that I have here at the moment, if I haven't replied to you, I apologize for that. I am working to get on top of things at the moment, but things just went a bit crazy, and I've had probably somewhere in the vicinity of maybe 40, possibly more recapping requests that I haven't responded to. Hello, Max. How's it going? Bought myself one of those hot air stations. Awesome. Amazing how well they work. It's one thing to see you do it, but another to do it yourself. Yep. That is fantastic. That's really good to hear. Did you get this brand or did you get one of the cheaper ones? I'm not judging. I'm just curious. I'm going to take these things off here now. I like the ROM sim and that. Just got to look up the job number for this one from my fancy ticketing system that I've had a few requests for people that want to try it out, and I haven't quite got it ready for giving to other people yet, but that will come. Got to figure out how to send it so that people can install it without too much difficulty, because it has to be linked up to an email server client thingy and everything. All right, this is job number 94. 94. And what I will probably take off, if it comes off easily, I will take off the power button. Should I change views here, shouldn't I? Yep. Those cheap ones, excellent, yep. Excellent. Yes, no, it is a really interesting thing. There's something I've got to mention. Obviously one of the things that I do here in these videos is I try and explain how I do things to maybe make it easier for other people to do them in the future. That's great. That's the purpose of the videos. It's what I like to do. There is a downside to that I am suffering from at the moment in a rather big way, and that is that as people start doing this themselves, they are perfectly capable of doing fairly straightforward recapping jobs. However, if something goes wrong, they then send them to me. So what I've been getting lately are nothing but problem jobs. Well, I shouldn't say nothing but a lot more problem jobs. And I've literally got a mountain of boards here that have significant problems with them that need long you know, big old diagnostics done on them, and I just haven't had time to sort of sink those sorts of hours into them. All right, so I'm going to take all these caps off. I do have a recapping guide for this, so I don't have to make note of what goes where, because, you know, I'm all good. When I remove these axial caps, axial basically meaning that they have wires coming out of each end. Radial is when they have two wires coming out the same end. So these are axial. The ones you see in most power supplies are radial. Okay, I'm hot. Drag soldering is my bane. I love drag soldering. You should see me drag solder. So I actually did a... I am in the middle of a video, getting close to completion. Who knows, I might even be able to get a chance to finish some of that today. We'll see how I go for time. And in that, I basically go through the process of building something, you know, a SCSI 2SD, building your own SCSI 2SD. And I drag solder in that. But I actually go through and give tips on how to do it. So, all right, let's get rid of these caps. We do not want them on the board. Evacuate them. Clippity clip. There are lots of different ways of removing capacitors like this. I do it this way because I like to do it this way. It's not necessarily the right way. It's just the way I like it. I like to just take the cap off and then just remove one pin at a time. I just like doing it that way. It makes me happy. This one's a big one, isn't it? Hello, big fella. There we go. And then we've got this little guy here. That's a little, what is he? He's a, can't see too good. 10 microfarad, 16 volt. There we go. Whew. Soldering stations so far so good, but I think the soldering technique needs work. That's what you're here for. Alright, so let's clean a few things up now. I've basically got cleanup to do. I've got to clean up these pads that I removed the caps from. Really cool thing about this 2FX board here, which I'm just going to jump across onto the microscope and show you. You can see that this board was totally designed for either electrolytic or tantalum. And so here's a set of pads for the electrolytic, and here's a set of pads for tantalum. So it's not even just a matter of putting one in the place of the other. I mean, they've actually got two sets of pads for all of these. There's two sets of pads. Cool, it's nifty. And what was really handy about that, I was working on one where there was some damage to the pads. So I was able to just use the good ones. You make this look easy. Oh well. Sorry. I've had practice, I suppose. Now, one of the things I hate about working on a 2FX is how ridiculously large the board is. What's going on here? Don't like the look of that. Looks a little bit crusty and crunchy. Just going to give it a little scrapey scrape to see what it looks like underneath. Oh, that's alright. We've got copper there by the looks of it. Yeah. All good. Yes, no, I don't think there's anything wrong with this one. The person who sent this to me not only sent it to me a long time ago, they had been promising to send it to me even longer ago. And so it's been here for, you know, it's a long time since I've had communication with this guy, so I can't remember what he said, whether he said it was working or not. Sorry, I've got the wrong tip. To remove the tip. Hello, Dana Does Stuff. We were talking about you before. I was just telling you how, telling people how I printed the wrong color TARDIS just to mess with your OCD. Okay. But you will be pleased to know I did buy some blue filament so I can 3D print in blue. Stupid question, mental blank. When using a desoldering station, do you use desoldering wick before or after using the station. The station I have doesn't seem to do a 100% job, might be user error though. Now, are you talking about a hot air station like this, or are you talking about a solder sucker, one that like mechanically goes and sucks the solder off? So if you're talking about a hot air station, I always just take the component off first, and then I clean up the pads like I'm about to do now. Hot. It's very hot. Sorry, you're going to have to sit and listen to me complain about the heat. It's hot. This air conditioner is holding the temp steady in here, but it's just steadily high. There's a limit to what it can do. So I'm using flux, solder, and heat. Just working here, being very gentle, and I'm just removing all the gunk from these pads so that I end up with something that looks exactly like this, which is nice little shiny lozenge type shapes that are holding solder beautifully. And then I take the solder off. How wacky is that? Put solder on, take it off. I've got clippers here somewhere. There we are. La TARDIS Blanca. So I'm going to have to do a blue one, but I've got a TARDIS 3D model where it's actually done in parts, and you can actually print the windows in clear, so that should be good. I don't know. It says I'm using a desoldering pump station. So okay, so let me go back to the question. Do you use desoldering wick before or after the station? So in theory, you shouldn't need to use wick apart from maybe cleaning it up afterwards. The main thing with the soldering station, the pump soldering station, I find is you need to make sure there's a decent amount of solder on there. So I've actually been in situations where I've been desoldering stuff and I've ended up actually adding solder to the joint. You know, nice, new, fresh solder. So you get a nice, decent glob on there, then you put the desoldering station on, and then you just suck the whole thing off. So that's generally, you know, what I would do. The wick, you know, I would just generally use for cleaning afterwards. Obviously, I'm using it here for surface mount stuff. But I wouldn't use a pump desoldering station for surface mount stuff, only for through-hole stuff. All right, let's have some more flux. This is a stupidly big board. Stupid. Minus 5C here. It'd be nice to have something somewhere in between that. Because I tell you what, it is hot here now. It is so hot, it is crazy hot. I mean, it is ridiculous that I'm actually down here live streaming in this heat. I do have this air conditioner, and this air conditioner works very well when we're in the kind of low 30s. But we are not in the low 30s today, we're in the high 30s. Hello Jay, welcome to the stream. It is Sunday here at the moment. Hello to anyone enjoying their Saturday evening. What better to do than sort of watch recapping on a Saturday evening? That's all I should say. So this one's a nice easy one when it comes to cleaning pads, because there's only 2 of them that need cleaning. All the tantalums can stay. I see no reason to replace them unless they are actually cooked. They're not. Using leaded solder on the non-leaded makes for a lower flow temp and cleaner pads. Yes, this is exactly right. Now, having said that, this board here is probably leaded solder because it's so old. But yes, when you're working with lead-free solder, it's always good to introduce some leaded stuff in there to lower the melting point, and it just makes it easier to work with. That's always the first thing I do when I'm working with newer stuff. Very importante. Right, so now we've got to get rid of some of these little pins here that were holding these axial caps in. As I mentioned before, I'm going to add a little bit of solder there, and then I'm going to grab my tweezers. There's David here. Hello David, how are you? Thank you very much for joining. Whoopsie. There we go. There's one pin. See if we can get the other. Sometimes these pins come out really easy. Sometimes they're a little bit tricky. Some of the things that can impact on whether they're easy or not are, number one, whether they are part of a big ground plane somewhere, sucking away all the heat from a soldering iron. Makes it a little tricky. The other thing that can impact them is if they've been bent over on the other side, they're a little bit hard to pull out. Oh boy, I don't feel like that's sucking very well. Gotta get that closer. Alright. Now, I've got to make these holes. At the moment they're full of solder. Anyone who's concerned about the fact that the sound is out of sync, I'm sorry to tell you this, but the sound is out of sync. Just keeps drifting in and out. I don't know if it's my computer, I don't know if it's the YouTubes, I don't know if it's OBS, but it's not good. The fans on my Mac Pro are absolutely blazing at the moment, and that's probably got a lot to do with the fact that it is so darn hot here. Want to get that solder out. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. I've got a whole series of tricks of potentially getting solder out. You can put a little end bit in like that. Might suck it out. It's helped a little. That's probably okay. It's probably enough of a hole to get a component in. Off to a great start. You know I'm not off to a great start, Apple Watch. You know that I didn't do my walk this morning because I slept in too late. Now it's too hot to walk. It's not a great start at all. Missed out on my walk. Terrible start. Yeah, there we go. That's coming out. Doesn't want to come out. Hot. Sync is fine at the moment. That's good. Good. Oh, far out it's hot. Okay. Sorry for all the whinging. Sorry. Alright. Stupid board. Alright, let's see if we can. Yep, that's alright. That'll work. That's good. Look at all that copper. Stupid. Right. I do have the mechanical suckery thing. I could try and get the solder out that way, couldn't I? Doesn't work terribly well when you don't have the pin in there, though. Dear. There are times where I work in a particular way and I think to myself, maybe I should work a different way. Whee! Well, those were easy. How good was that? See, if I was editing a video together, that's the one I'd show. I would say, and you just grab some wick to pull the solder out of the hole there. And then the next thing you know, I get a whole bunch of comments on the video going, how do you do that? It doesn't work for me. And I say, it's simple. Didn't work for me 10 times, and then it worked for me once, and that's the one I put in the video. Hello, Steve. So, Steve's had some interesting times lately, haven't you, Steve? But I think in the end, it's all things are working well and things are beneficial, and Steve is making improvements in his basement, which means that we will expect, well, actually, let's go one step above. We will demand a higher grade of live stream from Steve in the future. Oh dear. Yeah, so Steve, I'm not going to be letting up on you about part 2 of that series. I mean, I know part 1 nearly killed you, but I want to know. I want to know more. Off. Thank you. See how this one was bent over? Makes it a little bit harder to get it out. I listen to myself sometimes, and I just sort of virtually everything I say when I'm talking about these boards could be sort of finished with, "That's what she said." So many double entendres. Get some more solder in here. Hey. As you can see, that once the wick is a bit on the kind of like when it's sort of saturated with solder, it often does help the other solder come to it, because solder does like hanging out with other solder. That's just so easy. It's awesome. I love it. Hello from England. Hello to Amir. It is so hot here. It is so hot here. It is hot. It is hot. It is hot. This workshop, I always say that to try and make it sound fancier than a shed, isn't very well insulated. So even though this air conditioner is, blowing out nice cool air, the walls and roof of this workshop are just radiating heat. Once the sun gets past actually shining on the shed, it should start to cool down a little bit. When you realise you've been on Facebook for 14 years. Hey. It's interesting. I hear a lot of people complain about Facebook and stuff like that, and people have very different uses for Facebook. I don't want maps. Why did maps just open up? Right. I must have pressed something. Some people use it to air their political views. I don't do that. I don't use Facebook for any form of sort of political statements or anything like that. I pretty much use Facebook these days just for number one, for the business. So, my repair or recapping business or anything like that. And for keeping in touch with family, because I've got family not in Australia. I've got a cousin who pops in on my live streams every now and again. He lives in California. I've got another cousin who lives in New Zealand. And then my sister lives in Melbourne, I'm in Sydney. Melbourne is the other big city down in Victoria, the state south of us. And so, with all these people that have families and stuff like that, posting pictures of their kids and things like that, it's a way of kind of keeping up to date with stuff. That's what I use Facebook for. A lot of the time, the complaints that people have about Facebook just don't impact me at all, because I just don't use it for those sorts of things. And so, yeah, I don't really have any issues with Facebook. Ow, 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 ow! It landed on my hand. Oh, now it's stuck. It's melted onto my finger. There we go. Okay. Ah. Yeah, look, it's Facebook is fantastic for hobbies. Absolutely fantastic. I should have mentioned that because that is obviously one of the main things I use Facebook for. You know, when we're talking about people with similar interests, same sorts of hobbies. You know, so I'm on groups. I'm on like Doctor Who groups. I'm on vintage Mac groups. I'm on car groups. I'm on 3D printer groups. You know, and it's wonderful. You get lots of really good information getting shared. Really, really handy. The only thing I don't like about them, say if you were to compare them to perhaps an enthusiast forum, is that it's really hard to find old stuff with Facebook. You know, if you were comparing it to say 68K MLA, the forum, you know, with that you can go back and read stuff that people posted, you know, sort of like 10 years ago. Oh, which car groups? Well, they're Australian ones because I am in a car club and I also have a particular car. And they're Chrysler based. However, they are Valiant car groups ultimately. Chrysler and Valiant. In Australia, we had a Chrysler factory that actually made Chrysler vehicles out here. And they made an entire line of vehicles that ran from 1965 or something like that up until 1982. A whole range of vehicles called a Valiant. They're actually like Valiant. And even though I know there was a Chrysler Valiant, not the same. This was an entire range of vehicles. So it'd be virtually like the equivalent of say Plymouth. So, or something like that. Actually, no, that's not a good example. It would be like, yeah, it's a particular, it's a model, but it was a very long running model, and so I'm part of those groups because again I'm in a car club, and I personally own a Dodge, so which is in desperate need of some loving at the moment. Engine runs beautifully though, great big gurgly 383 V8. Nice. Okay, so I think I've done all the prep. Now it comes down to doing the new stuff. They're clear. Yep, I think we're good. So let's jump across to a different camera view because the microscope view is of no use at all now. We'll go top view. How about that? Yeah, we love the top view because the top view is new. It's very fancy. Yes, the road trains. Yeah. Sort of, which is sort of really what it sounds like. It's basically just a truck with lots and lots and lots of, what do you call them? Sort of trailers on them. And so they look like a train, but on the road. Yeah, absolutely. So I am. So when with the Australian assembly of them, that is the Australian factory, they were ultimately mainly assembly of sort of stuff from Chrysler in the US. There was some stuff that was made out here, but things like the engines, they were basically just the US engines. So 318, 360 in the small block. In the big block, you got 383 and the 440. And then you've got obviously things like the Slant 6 and you've got the Hemi 6. So yeah, pretty much everything you would see, you would have seen in the sort of Chrysler US was was what they were here. Maybe slightly less, not as many, but yeah, I mean, people do just order engines from the US and get them shipped out here and drop them into their Chryslers. Okay. The thing with the Valiants was they were they were seen as a pretty uncool car. You know, they were kind of like a dad's type car thing. Apart from maybe there was a thing called a Charger, a Valiant Charger. That was a pretty cool looking car, but the thing was that they were just insanely reliable. They had these unbreakable sort of automatic transmission, and they had these engines that you could just do pretty much anything you wanted to, and they would just keep going and going and going. And so they rusted terribly, but mechanically they went really well. This one here, there's very little damage. There's no damage on this one at all, actually. So this one is just a straight recapping. Now, having said that, I may move on to something more interesting later on. To anyone who has stuff with me at the moment that needs repair, I apologize for how long it has taken me to get these things done. I'm going to try and speed things up. But yeah, I've got a couple of problematic boards floating around here. I've got an SE, which is giving me a mountain of grief. I've got like an LC 550 board, I think, giving me grief. So anyhow, if I'm missing anything in the chat, I do apologise. How are we off for viewers at the moment? I haven't even bothered to check. My thingy says 25. I don't know how that fits with you, but yeah. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, emissions was a big thing over there. Yeah, for sure. I remember I read an article on the Chrysler jet car. I don't know if you are aware of that one, but Chrysler dabbled with jet engines in their cars, and they released a jet car. And one of the biggest issues they had with that, one of the many reasons why it never actually went properly to market, was the fact that as they kept changing the emissions, they couldn't get the jet car to comply properly. It was an amazing vehicle because it had so few parts, but it ran incredibly hot. And of course, the other problem was that there was hardly anyone who could repair them. I mean, if something went wrong with them, you couldn't just take them to your local mechanic. You had to take them, sort of back to Chrysler to get repaired. Yeah, they crushed all, but I think three or four. And what's his name? Jay Leno's got one of them that works, still runs. The main reason why they crushed them and didn't just leave them out there for use was because the whole repair issue. I've really gone on a tangent here, haven't I? The reason why they didn't crush they crushed the jet cars was they knew that if they sold them or gave them away, people would be driving around with them, the jet car, because they could run just about on anything. They could run on virtually any fuel you put in them. They were saying that you could even run them on perfume. But yeah, just about any fuel you could put in there and they would run. But the problem was that they knew that at a certain point these jet engines would fail because they're mechanical. They're going to fail eventually, even if they're way more reliable than a petrol engine. They knew they would all eventually fail. So what happens then? Well, you can't get it repaired. Chrysler aren't repairing them. You can't take them to a mechanic. You can't get the parts for them. So what happens? People take out the jet engine and they drop in a 383 or a 440 or something like that, which is what would end up happening. And then they were worried that is then going to speak negatively of the jet project. That, well, this is, they're kind of like, our experiment into jet engines was a dismal failure because now all of them have actually got, normal internal combustion engines in them now. So that was one of the reasons why they crushed them all and just kept a few in sort of museums and stuff like that. So, anyhow. Okay. Computer geeks and gearheads. It does, yeah, that certainly does. I mean, yeah. I mean, Mike is a mechanic, so there you go. Okay, all right. We're definitely going into car chat now. Look at all that. Right, so time to do this, and this is where the guide comes in handy. recapamac.com.au or recapamac.com. You can take your pick. You will find a whole bunch of guides there. And sorry, Steve, that there was no LC3 guide there. I will remedy that. I've made an LC3 guide, I just haven't put it on the website, and he needed it. And I was on holidays and I couldn't do anything about it. Okay, Mac Plus, Mac 2 Revision A, Mac 2 Revision B, Mac 2 power supply pins, SE30, SE30 sound, SE30 analog board, SE30 power supply, Sony power supply, 2CI. That's a portable. What's that? That's a 2FX. Yeah, found it. I have heard about the SE boards being reverse engineered. That's a lot of fun. I guess no cap list for the 2SI power supply. How dare I? I know it's terrible, but I can. Yeah, I can kind of give you what I have, but yeah, it's a bit tricky. As we have discussed this before, Steve, it's a real pain in the butt. I've got to pull the thing out, which is around here somewhere, and I've got to look at them all. Oh yeah, I've got bits of a 2SI power supply here. I think this is it. Is that it? Yeah. Upside. No. This is a 2SI power supply. Oh wow, perspiration. Hot. It is actually a little bit cooler in here, or maybe I'm just getting used to it. Yeah, here's a 2SI power supply. Here's the camera. There we go. That doesn't work. So, there's a reason why I haven't repaired it. I can't remember what it is. Never mind. It's there for spares if I need it, I guess. You're going to no. New Yorker. I got one of the guys in our car club has a beautifully restored New Yorker, really old one. I can't remember the year. I should actually. I can tell you what year it is. I can even send you a link where you can look at pictures of it. Told you I was in a car club, didn't I? Come on. Okay, where are we? Gallery, members rides. Click here for more. Where are we? Let's just do a search for New Yorker. Okay, there's one of the guys in the club's got a 1978 New Yorker. That thing is a tank. And the other one is a 1955. This one is just beautiful. I'm going to put a link in here where you can have a look at some pics of it if you want to. If you want to. There we go. Completely out on a tangent. There's some pictures of a 1955 Chrysler New Yorker that has been immaculately restored. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's move on. Shall we? Yes, we shall. Here is my guide. Oh man, this is the... Okay, yeah. So it's ultimately the same. It's just this is a photo of the one with all of the electrolytic caps rather than the tantalums. You can't see it. You can't see it. There needs to be a cheaper way to replace the object with full ATX parts. Yeah, look, yeah. So generally with the SE power supply, I just recap them and keep them going. But there are obviously options of putting a smaller power supply into the bigger power supply. Just take the guts out and put a smaller one in there. But I haven't had to do that with any because I've been able to get all of the power supplies that I've had up and running. And to be honest, a lot of them, the failure rate's not that high with those. So there. But one of the things that I'm planning to do, whether it be with an SE or a Plus, I'm not really sure. I was talking to the guys about this recently. I'm planning to design and 3D print like a SE or Mac Plus style laptop and then stick a Raspberry Pi in it. So, because for those who aren't aware, if you run what's it called? What's that Raspberry Pi emulator? The one that does all of the games and stuff like that. one of the things you can do is you can get it to emulate a Mac as well, and it does it really, really well. So, and so yeah, just make a little tiny little SE or a Mac Plus or something like that with a little liquid crystal screen, something like that would be a bit of fun. Why not? All right, so I don't have to do most of these caps, but I do need to do some of them. I will need to use an axial for this one here because it's not made to actually have anything but an axial there. All right, so let's grab some axial capacitors, shall we? No, we won't. We'll stick on the surface mount first. That's how I work. Surface mount, tantalums number 1. That is really high. Gosh, am I going to be able to reach that? Oh, nice air conditioned air going up my belly. Nice. Aren't tantalums more prone to causing shorts when they fail? Yes, they are. But they are also extremely reliable if used within their spec. Their failure rate is so incredibly low, really not an issue. And as I've said many times before, Apple actually put tantalums on a lot of their computers, and those ones aren't having any problems. Still, you take something like the Quadra 900, the Quadra 700, they are entirely tantalum. There are no electrolytics on them at all, surface mount electrolytics. Now, why that one got the tantalum treatment and the others didn't, probably a cost measure at the time, but yeah, and those computers are working beautifully. They don't have any problems at all. I don't get Quadra 700s for recapping, ever. I only get them for when people have had an exploded battery. Sorry, I'm totally losing it. It's okay though. Don't panic. Ugh. Yes, I mean the exploded battery is a bugger. I mean sometimes it's stuff that's repairable. Other times it's like, you know, read him his rights. I mean no, read him his last rights. That's more like it. Right, couple of caps here. I've already got nice clean pads, so I'm just going to put on a bit of flux here. I'll drop these in position and then I'll solder them on using my special magical soldering method. There's nothing magical about it at all. I just sort of wanted to try and make it sound exciting. What I hate about this particular one is that this is a very large board and it's difficult for me to get these things at the right angle. Like this one here. Piffle, piffle, piffle. Right. Here's a cap. Oh boy. And I've also got to try and sort out this cleaner behind me, the owl, because it is only working on 3 of the 4 power supplies at the moment. I've got to work out which one's not working properly and repair it. Doo-doo. Sometimes I sit here and I narrate what I'm doing like completely, and other times I just do it. If anyone is watching this for the first time, does have any questions about the way I do things, for example, just things like the fact that the tantalum has a stripe on the positive side, whereas electrolytics have the stripe on the negative side, so you have to put these around the other way. The fact that I actually don't, I actually just get solder onto my soldering iron tip, and then I use the flux on the board to make that soldering iron flow into its new location like that. It means you get nice, neat and tidy joints. It does of course mean that I end up with flux all over the board, but that's what the ultrasonic cleaner is for. And with a board of this size, the ultrasonic cleaner behind me is going to get a workout, because this doesn't fit in my small cleaner. Oh! Yep, I can totally understand that. You know, the concern with tantalums being a problem. My recommendation would be that if you are going to use tantalums on these, if you want to be super careful, put on ones with a higher voltage than the originals. So if you're putting on 16 volt, put on 25 volt ones. So it just means that capacitor is going to be used further, you know, into its spec sort of thing. You know, you're much less likely to have it sort of the capacitor being put on a heavy load or something like that. So that if you want to be super careful, you can do that. That whole sentence was an absolute friggin' train wreck. I just couldn't figure out how to get off it. Charles, hello. How's it going? I think I owe you a reply, don't I? I think you sent me a message. I could be wrong. I was saying to someone the other day, I've been getting messages through Facebook Messenger, through my Brankers Facebook page, through Discord, through my online form for contact info, my online form for recapping, and email through YouTube. I just get all these messages coming in, and I've been struggling to reply to them all at the moment. I am going to work on improving it though. Just setting some time aside each day for a bit of reply. Sorry, this is probably blowing on the fan, on the microphone, and making horrible noises. Sorry. Okay. So we've got 2 caps stuck on there. Some happy little solder joints. Yeah, capacitor that's having a tantrum. Alright, sorry, I'm looking around for the axials. There we go, found the axials. I keep a container just of all the axial caps, and this is it here. And we're going to need to grab some for this. So, what do we need? 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 I need 10 microfarad 16 volt. Do I have one of them? What's that one? I've got 10 microfarad 25. Even better. Okay, just need one of those. Need one 220 16. Got 220 25. I'm going to up the voltage on all of these. I generally do. 3 470 16. That's these ones, isn't it? 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. And then a 1000. 1010. 1000. I've only got a 10 for 1000, so I can't increase the voltage on that one, but it will be fine. Ooga. Mac IIfx, rare machine, nice indeed. It is one of the ones that it's one of the ones that I don't have in my collection. I would very much like to have. I don't like my chances of ever getting one because I'm a budget buyer. It's just a question of whether this, you know, I mean, some of the rarer machines that I've just got by pure luck, and that's something I would recommend to folks, is that luck is a really important thing. I got, you know, sort of some really nice Macs that I've been hunting for ages, just out of pure luck. So, okay, right, okay, all right, let's do this, because I'll tell you what, I am just procrastinating. It's probably the heat, but I am procrastinating terribly today. Right, so there's that little guy. Thankfully, these boards actually have a little plus on the positive side, so I know which way around they go. When I put caps on, as much as possible, I try and make it so that the writing is visible for the next person who comes along. They can say, "Oh, I can see what that capacitor is," without having to tear it off. It's one of my pet peeves, is when I you know, I get a board and I'm making a recapping guide or something like that, and I can't read the info off the caps because they put all the writing on the underside. There's one. Bend the pins a little bit. You can't really see that, can you? I should probably change over to the top view for this because I won't use the microscope for this stuff, but I will use my goggles. My 3 times magnification goggles. So let's go across here to top view. Okay, let's get this. Jeff Barnard, hello. Don't worry, mate, we've just been killing time till you got here. What am I doing here? Right. I'll tell you one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to clean these glasses. They are covered in flux and goop and stuff. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. It's not coming out. This is my little alcohol dispenser. Oh, where's my alcohol? I moved it. Moved it out of reach. It's clever. Oh. Hot, 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 hot. Hot. Exciting things. I did say on the live stream that it's recapping a 2FX and other stuff. See, there you go. I just filled up my little alcohol container there. There's some other stuff for you. Right. There we go. There we go. So one of the things that I'm looking forward to doing with my 3D printer, having recently bought a 3D printer, is getting some, you know, replacing some of the power buttons on some of my Power Macs, you know, the desktop Power Macs, things like the 7600 and stuff like that, because all those power buttons are broken because of the spindler plastics. Okay, here we go. Here's my capacitor, all ready for some solder. Hurry, warm up. Okay, there's one. Snippity snip. Snippity snip. Yes, good. Right, let's do the next one. Yeah, it'd be a good idea to have a new switch that's not as prone to breaking. Yeah, I mean, you talk about like actually redesigning it all together. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know what these 3D printing plastics are going to be like in decades to come. But they can't be much worse than the plastics they built the Macs from. The thing that really got me with the plastics was I used to use an Quadra 840 at work back in the olden days. And I used to open it up all the time for swapping RAM out and all that sort of stuff. And you just pull the cover off, boom, off she comes, unscrew it, flip the board over, take the RAM out, whatever. You know, there's a little plastic clippy thing for holding the new bus boards in place. And there's fans and stuff. And you just, you know, you just grab them and you squeeze the plastic and you pull it out. Well, I got a, I was an 8100 or something, I can't remember, one of those later ones that uses the same design as the Quadra 840. And I got that, and I just like undid the little screws. I went to go pull the front off, just pull it off, and just boom! Oh, just a whole stack of stuff just came pouring out. You know, just snap, 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 snap. I went to go remove the board, so there's the little plastic clippy thing that holds the new bus cards. I just squeezed that to pull it out. It just snapped in half in my hand. You know, you have to take the power button out in order to get the board out. And I just pushed that out, snapped in half in front of the hand, and it's like, Like, I'm being as careful as I possibly can, but just every single thing I touched in that just broke instantly. Computer still works though. All right. This is the slowest recapping in history. This is, what have we got here? 220. 220. 220. That goes right here. Now I want to try and, yep, that's all good. Plus, there we go. That goes around that way. There she goes. Bend the pins a little just so it doesn't fall out. Flip him over and solder. Not that one. Is that one I want? Can't remember. Yeah, this will do. Just reading. Now, GT, I have to ask you a question about this transistor tester thing you are printing. Don't you already have a case? I thought you already had a case. This is a better case? Or is it just because it's something to do with the 3D printer? I'm just curious whether there are benefits from going with that case over the case you already have. Yep. Right, we can do these three at once. Wow. That is 470, 470, 470. Everyone's wondering about noises, like thudding noises. There are pigeons doing stuff on the roof of my workshop. Don't ask me what they're doing. Okay, yep, cool, no worries. I understand. I would actually like to probably build a case, or at least a battery holder for inside that case. Because I've got the battery kind of just stuck down with some double-sided tape at the moment. It's not ideal. Right, so I've just straightened out these pins, and now I'm going to bend them. Just working out where to actually do the bends. Do the bends. That one can go there. Fascinating stuff, this, isn't it? Watching me bend metal. Whee! That was not the same. Okay. I do like to try and get these kind of the same, kind of even, so that when I put them in there, they're all kind of sitting together. Just looks a little nicer. Okay. Pretty close. Right, soldering time. I can't read the chat at the moment because I've got my goggles on. Just a reminder to any Australians out there who might be wanting to get a SCSI to SD for their vintage Macintosh that I am the Australian reseller. And if you go to my Recap a Mac website, you will find there is an online store. And in that store, you can buy SCSI to SDs from me. Cheaper than you will be able to buy them from the States or eBay. So if anyone is in Australia and in the market for a SCSI to SD, please jump onto my website. Buy one today. I have plenty of stock. I have version 5.2s. I have version 5.5s. And I have version 6s. So plenty to choose from. If anyone ever has any SCSI to SD questions, please do feel free to throw them at me. I do not consider myself the ultimate authority on SCSI to SDs, but I sure do know a lot about them. Goggles. Alright, there we go. He has a website. Ah, dear. There's a battery holder, that's good. Excellent. It's currently the 36th birthday of the original Mac. Is it? It's 37, isn't it? Yep, 37th. Yep, cool. Yeah. The Australian SCSI SDs operate upside down, only if you want them to. Certainly the one in the SE does, because the SE mounts the hard drive upside down. And SE30. Try and explain that. This one goes here. Plus that way. Okay. Far out, just keeps getting hotter. And our fig tree at the moment is in full fruit, which means we have fruit bats coming to visit us every night. And boy, are they noisy. That, friends, was the last cap. So, people want to see it boot up? Should I test it? Or should I just put it aside and move on to the next thing? What do you reckon? Want to see me test it? Put forward your votes, folks. Test or no test? Amir, I assume you're talking about the cost of the SCSI to SD, and I was in exactly the same situation. I have a fairly extensive vintage Mac collection, and I also have a fairly extensive collection of failing hard drives. And so I went down the path of actually making my own SCSI to SDs using the old designs by Michael McMaster, who were released as under sort of like a GPL license. So you can actually get all of the source files, you can get your own PCBs printed, and you can make your own SCSI to SDs. Now, it requires a lot of soldering work. It's not easy. I've got a guide video coming out on it, but it enables me to make SCSI to SDs for around about sort of 35 Australian dollars, not including labour each. And that's a big difference compared to you know, what you pay for a SCSI to SD. So that's what I've been doing. I've been making my own for all my Macs to save a bit of dough. I do sell those ones I make as well, but you just sort of have to ask yourself, you know, I mean, they're a little bit cheaper than buying the new ones. You just got to ask yourself whether it's worth the savings or not. So, Fruit Batman. Oh god, I've missed all this chat about SCSI to SDs. I'm gonna have to scroll back. What? Excellent, good stuff. Okay, is it programming tool doesn't support dark mode? As someone who never uses dark mode, period, that really doesn't bother me too much. But yeah, they've got a new one. I don't know if you've noticed. Is it Stian? I don't know if you were aware that if you're on a Mac, there is actually a Mac version in the Apple App Store of the SCSI to SD utility, rather than that clunky one that you download from the CodeSource website. So if you go into the App Store and you do a search for SCSI to SD, you will find SCSI to SD utility that you can download from there. I don't know, that might support dark mode. See? And there's one for the version 6 as well. Oh, rhymes with Ian. Stian. Okay, no worries. Yeah, so I'm not sure if I have them in here. We'll see. But the trickiest part. Well, actually, there's one part which is a little bit hard to get hold of, but I found a good source for that, and that's in the video. But this is the main CPU for a SCSI to SD. And I picked these up, I think, for around about $12 US each, something like that. It's probably the most expensive part of the build. Might be a bit cheaper, but yeah. So they have to be programmed though. When they come like this, they are blank. They blink. Okay. Okay, all right. Dude, I am really going slow today. Far out. Well, I haven't streamed in a while. I'll use that as my excuse. I do actually have to go up to the house because I didn't bring anything down here for testing this. I didn't bring a screen. I didn't bring a SCSI USB. Where are we? Bank B, Bank A. Let's have a bit of Bank A, shall we? And of course we know we need batteries here. I've got one battery. Do I have two? I'm going to have to get another battery as well. Ay, caramba. So ill prepared. What will the people say? There's some RAM. What am I after? There's a thing. There's a thing, and I'm not sure if the thing is down here or up there. It must be up there. Alright, so I'm going to bring up the little be right back thingamajig, because I will be right back. And so just sit tight. Oopsie. Well, I should look around here. Oh, there. Okay. At least I got that. Oh, this doesn't have onboard video, does it? So I'm gonna have to get a video card too. Oh, hey. Right, so I've got a cable. That's at least one thing. So I'll be right back. Be right back. Sorry that took so long, folks. That was okay. What is that card on the left? Oh, I'll show you. This is interest anyone with like a later model PCI computer. It is. It's got the card. PCI SCSI card. So you've got the, it's just the narrow SCSI. So you've got those stupid connectors that they had there. Then you've got a normal 50 pin internal there. That's the old A card chip. We know that. So yeah, that's a SCSI card. So I don't know what I'm going to put it in. Because let's face it, why would you want to put SCSI into a machine that's IDE these days? Because of the plethora of options with IDE compared to SCSI. But anyhow, now I grabbed a couple of display cards. The reason why I grabbed a couple was because when I picked this one up, an oscillator fell off. It's a 20 kilohertz, I guess. So that should be relatively easy to replace. Maybe even steal it from somewhere else, but I'm not likely to have these big sticky uppy ones on there. 20. There we go, 20. So yeah, not too happy about that. But at least it's something that can be repaired. I'll have to get that. What would possibly have a 20 kilohertz crystal sticky-atty one like that? Stupid. Right. Oh, I can use this other card. So anyhow, I'm gonna have to buy. I'll have to buy a new oscillator, and then I'll put the new one on. That's mine, so that's fine. It's okay if my own stuff's falling apart. And I've got this as an option here as well. This is a display card. It's a very, very crappy one, but it's still a display card, so it'll do. There it is there. New bus one. The other ones that I've got are actually in computers, so I'm not going to use those ones because they're in my computers, being used. Like for instance, in my, I'm doing a bit of name dropping here, in my Macintosh IIci, or my Macintosh IIcx, or my Macintosh 2, or my Quadra 700. I just mentioned all of my favorite Macs, so there you go. Alright, so let's get a display card on there, just like that. Lovely. Now, this is a thing. This is basically just a SCSI ribbon cable with a terminator attached to the end. And I use this to terminate the internal SCSI bus so that I can use the external SCSI bus. If I just plug, not all computers are like this, but these older ones tend to be like that. But if you don't have anything connected and terminating the internal bus, when you connect something on the external, it doesn't work. So here's my SCSI 2SD version 5.5, available to purchase from recapamac.com.au if you're in Australia. Got lots of these, lots of them. So then we've got a monitor here. Now this is a little monitor that I use for testing quite regularly. People will have seen this before if you watch my live streams. It's rubbish. Well, actually it's not. It's very good, but it's just very small and difficult to see. So let's put that on there. Connect this up and plug it in here. Which way around? This is a very, very old display card. It's only capable of, I think, 256 colors, so at 640 by 480. We used to get pretty excited about that sort of resolution back in the days, just saying. Very first time I used those things, you know, because everything was black and white for so long, and then we got color, and we're like, oh my goodness, look at that! Terminator skull, something to print. Oh, I'm with you there. That'd be awesome. I have just finished the last limb of a xenomorph from the Alien movie in 3D print. I haven't had a chance to assemble it yet because I've been here, but it's going to be awesome. All right, so we've got batteries on there. The batteries are required to start these things. The startup circuit is powered, so that's just one of the little annoyances, but you know, that's just how it goes. So now, keyboard. Nope. This bloody plug is absolutely minced. I rolled over it with my chair once, so That goes in there. Now there's only one thing I'm missing now, and that is some power. I've got the power supply. Thankfully, the person who sent me the board sent me the power supply so I can test it. I did ask him if they would do that, because the problem I have, I don't have a Mac IIfx power supply. I have a Mac II, but it came without the power supply, and I've been trying to get hold of one. Peter was going to send me one. I have to see if that offer is still there. And I was going to pay for it, and I'm asking him to give it to me for nothing. Okay, so let's plug this in. God, I hate it when that happens. Right, okay. Now, one of three things can happen here. One, oh, I need a speaker. One is that it will chime and work and everything will be fantastic. That's what we want. Another is absolutely nothing will happen. It'll be completely dead. The third option is that something will pop and blow up and then it'll be really embarrassing for me. So let's just hope it's like one. So they're all pointing in the right direction. I do like to double check and make sure that I get all the polarity right on my caps. Yeah. Okay. Right, we're ready to press the power button. This is the power button here. Also, I can also start it from the keyboard, but I would like to try it from the power button first. I'm doing my Action Retro Sean impersonation here. Oh, what does he do if he cuts his finger and needs a band-aid? Can't do a video with a band-aid. Okay, we ready? Got a chime, folks. Got a chime. Fan going, the power supply is going. I'm not getting anything out of the display, but there are a number of possible causes for that. One could be that I've got this set on the wrong source. VGA. Oh, look at that. Green light. Well, it's starting up. It's booting. I can see the hard drive flickering. But I ain't got nothing from the screen. And that could well be because of this clunky old display card. It's got an old-fashioned reset button, hasn't it? Let's try it again. Yeah, I mean, I think it's actually, it's complaining about the OS I've got on here or something. So I am going to have to fish one of the display. Actually, I've got a display card that I repaired for someone else. I'll use someone else's display card. How about that? Switch that off. Get rid of this stupid display card. Stupid. So stupid. I don't know why it's not working. I thought this one worked, but never mind. Could be the settings, it could be this, it could be that. Could be because I'm living in a big city. Right. It's... Does it? Okay. I've got an eMachines card that looks quite different to that one. But yours might be a different vintage. That could be an eMachines for all I know. The only clue I've got there is it's made in Japan. What does it say? No, nothing. No branding. Nothing. Nothing. I do know that that's all VRAM there. These little... Alright. Alright. Okay. I am going to go back soon and I'll just go up and grab that card. Wait a sec. Anyone see that news story about the mummy where they recreated its throat and vocal cords and stuff and made it sound? There's some funny memes and stuff coming out from that. Okay. Right. Let's see how we go this time. We got a green, which means it's getting a signal. Yay! Happy, happy, happy. Happy, happy, happy. Now, you see how I've got all these lines through it? You might be thinking, oh dear, Bruce, you've got lines through it. But I know a secret. I can go here to menu. I can scroll down here to auto config. And I can go here and go, okay. And it'll go, and then all gone. I need to turn the brightness down though, don't I? Because it's a little bit on the bright side. So let's go to... no. Oh, brightness is all the way down. Okay. I do have just for people who might be curious, I do actually have... I know what I can do with this. I can turn the brightness down on the camera. Yeah, we have the skills. We go here to webcam settings panel, and then we turn this right down. Oh, too far. There we go. That's a little bit more visible now. Okay, so let's grab a mouse and we'll do some things. Where is the mouse? Oh, there it is. On the floor. Good place for it. Come on, mouse. There we go. Hello, mousey. Right, let's go to... Yeah, so I've got a screen capture thingy that allows me to broadcast, what do they call them, scaler, allows me to broadcast signals through OBS, but my scaler does not support any of the resolutions of my, well, any of the output signal from any of my new bus cards. You know, new bus display cards. It does from other things, but just not the new bus cards, so I can't do it. So. Oh, well, we're on System 6. How about that? There's a nice fast System 6 machine, this one. Let's go to monitors. Nope, that's mount image monitors. We go here to colors, to a 56. And let's go up here to the Apple menu and go about the Finder. Sorry about the focus here, guys. Let's see if I can sort that out. Focus, focus, focus. Nope, oh, wrong thing. That's what I wanted. Oh no, got the flickers. Okay, flicker's gone. Flicker's gone. Nearly gone. Let's focus. I think we're in focus now. Alright, so we have got a grand total of 4 megabytes of memory running here on the System 6. Yippee! So, well, everything's fine with this one, so that's a happy one. This just needs to clean and then we're good to go. We know it makes sound, we know it works. It's a happy day. So there we go. It's nice when things actually work. Mind you, having said that, this wasn't a particularly challenging one. So let's now get things back to the way they were. I'm going to shut this guy down. Boom, shut down she goes. So, all good. Ah, wasn't that satisfying? Yes, it was. I'll answer my own question. Right, so, a couple of other things I want to do while I'm streaming here. I won't go for that much longer, only because I've got so much repair to do, and I repair faster when I'm not live streaming. Camera default, streaming. There we go, that's a bit better. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's unplug this. It is my intention to start streaming a little bit more. I have been very lackluster with the streaming lately, and for that I apologise. I do want to rectify that situation and make it all up to you folks. Here we go. This is the higher resolution display video card. Interesting thing to note with this one here, the one where the crystal fell off. Just reminds me of the John Clark, Brian Dorr sketch where he's talking about the front of the boat fell off. Very funny, that one. Anyhow, so this here has these slots here. Well, what would have been slots to then put VRAM upgrades in. And you notice on this particular board, it doesn't have a slot there. And you might be thinking to yourself, hey, if I put slots on there, can I increase the VRAM? Well, the fact is, this is the higher end one. So the lower end one had the slots and gave you the ability to buy it as like an 8-bit display card. And then you could put these on and you could then upgrade it to a 24-bit display card. This one here was 24-bit straight out of the box. So I don't think there would be any benefit from those. I mean, who knows? You might, yeah. It only does one resolution, 640 by 480. That's it. So that's what we used to live in back in the olden days. Okay, right. So let me have a little quick catch up on the chat because I've been too busy doing stuff. Oh, am I allowed to say that, Dana? Am I allowed to say doing stuff? I think that's... I can say doing things or something like that. So here's my A7. Even the IIfx can boot system 6.1, I think yes, they can do 4.2. Yeah, I've got a Mac II, and I used to have a Mac II many, many years ago. In actual fact, the Mac II was the very first Mac I bought with my own money. I found the receipt for it the other day. I bought it second hand and it cost me 3,600 Australian dollars to buy, I think, from memory. It came with a monitor, a rubbishy monitor, but never mind. So, anyhow, the point I was going to make was, what was really interesting was that Mac II is I used to always run it on system 7 something. I can't remember, it's too long ago. 7.1, 7.0, who knows, 7.5 even possibly, I can't remember. And of course it was dog slow. And then one day I got hold of, I think it might have been the original floppy disks for it, or got hold of some old system disks for it, and they were system 5, I think. I think it was system 5. And oh my goodness, that thing flew. I just loaded up with system 5 off a floppy disk, and the thing was so fast and responsive, and I'm like, wow. So, yeah, anyhow. So, what I'm going to do now, just very quickly, call it a day. Hope everyone has a great day, night. No worries. Thank you, Amir, for joining. I do realise that the different location in the world means that I do end up streaming at some weird times to some parts of the world. I'm sure I can rely on Steve and Jay to hang around, seeing as those guys don't seem to sleep. So, all right, okay, all right. So what I'm going to do now, this is a bit of a weird one because this isn't the sort of thing that I normally do on the stream, but I want to try and diagnose the issue I have with this ultrasonic cleaner. Now I have a little amp monitor thing here. Now this is 400 watts of cleaning power. I noticed last time I fired it up, it was only sucking 300 watts. So it's got 4 100-watt power supplies in there, so which tells me that one of those power supplies isn't working. So what I need to do now is I need to find out which one it is giving me some grief. If I were to just press this button now, I don't know if you could hear that. That was it ultrasonicing. Now, because of my shonky wiring, I'm going to have to take a lot of precautions with this. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch off. I should actually rig some switches up for this on the front so I can just switch them off and on here. So, you know, like power supply 1, power supply 2, power supply... That's a really good idea. They'd have to go down here though, not up there because the tank's right up against the wood. So I've got so many good ideas. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of make things safe for myself by disconnecting it from mains power, like this. And then I'm going to do this. So, disconnect it. Then what I'm going to do, one at a time, I'm going to... there we go. That's what it looks like inside. They look like rat droppings. They look like rat droppings in there. Nice. Okay. I'm going to have to do some eradication stuff, aren't I? So anyhow, at least you can't see in there, so... right. Ultrasonic cleaning fluid was found in the mail. Excellent. Thomas, tell me, which fluid was it? I know, I'm sure we discussed it, but I can't remember. How does a rat get in there? That's a good question. Well, there are holes in the back for wires. Well, actually, there are ventilation holes right through the air. So we've got these fans at the front, and then I've got 3 holes at the back for the air to go in. So my guess is they've just crawled in through those holes. I think I might have to put some mesh on them, don't you think? But I'd ideally like to get rid of the rats as well. This is an outdoor shed, so, you know, rats happen. All right, so... Right, there's no mains power in this now, so I can put my hands in here with impunity. What I am going to do is gradually, one at a time, I'm going to just connect power to them. So there's that one there, that one there, that one there. Now I'm guessing it's going to be either this one or this one, just based on the repairs that I've done on some of the others. So let's start with this guy. Actually, I bet you it's going to be this one. Let's just try. Let's start with this one because he's probably the most likely candidate to be a problem. So put that there. Take that out. Make it stay. That. There we go. Right. So take those out. So there's I've basically only got one power supply connected up to power now. So we're going to plug him in. This is really dangerous. So I'm going to just do this and see what happens. You ready? You ready? Freaks me out a bit. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I was like 200 watts. That's right, not right. It's it wasn't showing me watts. That's watts. Oh, crud! Every time I push this in, I reset the thing. That watts? I can't read that. I can't read that. It's too small for my old eyes. What? 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 Okay, so that's 83. No, I don't think it's him. I don't think it's him. I mean, I know it's not 100, but it's close. Close enough for me. Right. It better not be one of the ones I've already repaired. That'll upset me. Okay, there's that one. Let's try this one. Okay, so I'm moving to this one here. I just did module 2. I'm now doing module 1. Module 1 has been extensively repaired before, so I'm very, very much hoping he's not the problem. Stop it. Stop it. Just stop. There we go. Let's have a look at watts. Oops. Max. What? What? There we go. About the same, 80 something. Okay. He's fine. That's good, because as I say, that's the one that I did repair extensively. So if he had been gone, I would have been terribly upset. So the next most likely one is, I think, this guy here. This is module number, I can't remember the numbering system I did, but it's one of them. Let's get rid of that. 4. This is module 4. So this is probably the second likeliest one to have a problem. So let's just see what happens with this one. What's going on? You watch, everything will be working now. It'll make me look a right fool. Well, more of a fool. Oh, I didn't unplug this one. Okay. 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 Right, so this must be module 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I did it sort of clockwise. There we go. Right, so again, this is one that has also been extensively repaired, so I'm really hoping it's not this one. But anything is possible at this stage. Sorry, I'm not reading the chat at the moment, but I will. We hear that. That's a very different noise. That only reached 47 watts, that did. Maximum. Okay. Yeah, okay, we found our culprit. I'm really annoyed that it's that one. Piffle. Okay, let's jump back and have a quick look at the chat, see if anyone said anything interesting, or whether I've just had all the viewers drop off. Okay. Still hot here. Okay, so Branson EC. Yep, no worries, good stuff. Is there a clean rat inside there now? Boom, boom. DIY ultrasonic cleaner, so interested. Yeah, I'm partway through a video on this one, like a lot of my other videos. The main reason why I made this one was because I needed to clean things that didn't fit into the conventional off-the-shelf models. So I needed to get one where I was able to make my own custom-sized bath. Now, the biggest problem with this has been that the manufacturing quality of these power supplies is horrendous. They fail terribly. So that's a real problem, you know. The one advantage is that it will still work quite well on 3. So if I don't get this fixed, you know, straight away, it will clean quite happily with these 3 modules. So these 3 remaining modules. So I can take the old one out. Let's do that now. I'm going to need to get a screwdriver in there, aren't I? Bummer. Can I get a little one? A little one do? And then I can tell you a little bit later on, I'm going to get the vacuum cleaner into this. Get rid of these little mouse droppings. And then I'm going to take steps to get rid of the mouse. Or misses. Eat those misses to pieces. So I'll show you, this is basically just going to show you what this power supply looks like. And I'll show you the areas where I've had trouble with them. And they have been... okay, so that's the power supply there. You basically put your... oh, this is a great view of the back of my head, isn't it? You put the mains power on this side, and then you connect the transducers to this side. Yeah, so just so that you know, I can fit this board in there. In actual fact, I can fit this board in there in one piece. This is the biggest board that I actually have. This is a Quadrant 950. So that will go in to that cleaner in one go. You know, just do one clean on each side. So that's why I built it, so I could do that, because this is the biggest board I ever have to clean. So I designed it based on that. Yeah. So the main areas of failure on these are these little transistors here. I have a whole bunch of spare ones here, but the other are these transformers. These two transformers. Now this one here has already been rewound by me, so I pulled it apart, rewound the transformer, and put it on there. And so it's unlikely this one will be the problem. It's more likely that this one will now be the problem. There's a fairly easy way of telling, and that is that this is enameled wire, like, you know, this stuff here. And when the enamel burns off it, it stinks. So if I can use my nose to tell which one of these is bad. That one smells okay. That one smells burned. So it's this guy here. I can actually, you just smell that enamel coming off. So I'm going to have to basically take this guy off and rewire it, rewrap it. I have spare stuff somewhere. It's like 0.8mm wire, so floating around here somewhere, it's probably fallen on the floor, is a roll of transformer wire that I can use for that. Isn't that good? Power supply made in China. Yes, it is. It's a 120 watt power supply, which I thought, oh, that's great, because I'm only going to be drawing 100 watts, so these will last forever. But I mean, have a look at these joints. Can't remember which button to press. That one? Yep. I mean, it's still got flux all over them. Got a nice little join there. It's deliberate join, but you know, doesn't that look nice? And there's another join there. Awesome. You know, these are, I mean, they basically just look like they were put together by a child. No care has gone into them at all. So, what can you do? Okay, so let's go to the top view here. Okay. So the thing with these is these aren't just a power supply. These are, there's a word for these. I can't remember what they call them, but they do more than just like convert AC to DC. They're actually driving these transducers there, which are kind of like a piezoelectric, a big piezoelectric sort of vibration. And these are actually driving that. Now, I don't understand it that much. There's an awesome video on it that Jay sent to me of a guy that built his own. And he built his own power supplies, which I probably should do, but difficult. Take a long time. And I have to do it for like 8 transducers. I really don't want to have to go and do that. But anyhow, I'll just build one big one, I suppose. But anyhow, so I probably just need to have a few of these on standby. I'll swap one in and then repair the one that's not in there. I'm just going to take some photos. This is just my little tip to anyone doing a little bit of DIY electronic stuff. Always take photos of things before you get started. Get them from different angles, even do it with a video if you like. So that when it actually comes time to put the thing back together, you get everything around the right way. Okay, so I'm going to draw on this as well. I'm going to show that this side, oh, actually there's no point in drawing that, I'm going to take that off. What if I draw on that? Will that stay? How about I melt? I'm going to melt it. You appear to not be your way at all. Do you have a good cable out of the way thingy on your microscope? Oh dear. Yes, I do. Thank you for mentioning that. So Jay and I have been sharing each other's 3D printing experiences. It is basically Jay started it, and well, we kind of both started it, didn't we, Joe? I mean, we've been talking about 3D printing for a while, and I'd always said that I was going to get one, and I was going to get a particular type of one, but it was very expensive, and I showed the one to Jay that I wanted. And then Jay ended up, this is House of Moth, by the way, do check out his channel. He did some research and found that there was a 3D printer made by Creality called an Ender 3V2, which got quite good reviews, had a very large community, lots of people helping, and was very, very inexpensive. Essentially meant you could get into the 3D printing thing for a couple $100. Now, it was $350 for me here in Australia, $350 Australian, but I think it's probably like $250 or something like that in the US. And so Jay got one and he started doing some 3D printing, and then I was just like, I need to get me some of that. So I bought one of those as well. And Greg Thompson, GT, he also bought a 3D printer. He got the Ender 3 Pro. And so, yeah, we've been busily going through this 3D printing journey together. And I used to do a bit of 3D illustration some years ago in one of my previous jobs. And so I have like sort of, you know, 3D illustration things. And I started making some of my own things. So I made this thing here, which sits on top of the pole of my my microscope. There's this shaft here that sort of that's the microscope coming out on this movie arm thingy, this little arm movie thingy backwards and forwards thingy. And I had an issue with the wires that were coming off this getting caught in this part here. So I made this thing here that allows me to wrap the wire around there, come out through this guide, and keeps the wire out of that mechanism. So yeah, anyone out there with an Amscope telescope, if you want that, 3D print one of those for your real choke. Well, no of us. Yeah, Steve, you need to get a 3D printer, just saying. Yes, no, it is true. I was probably the one that started the whole 3D printing thing. Sorry. So I'm going to switch on my machine. Anyone who's new to the channel, I have a mechanical solder sucker, and when you press the button, it goes. So I call it the machine. And I just switched it on, and nothing is happening. And I'm guessing that's because it's not plugged in, and I'm not sure why it's not plugged in. I probably used the power cable for something else, but I don't know what. Oh, hang on, here's one. Here's a power cable doing nothing. Must be you. Must be you. There we go. All right. Yeah, everyone happy? There we go. Now we got power. Oh, right. So let's heat that up, and then I can take this thing off, and then I can try and get this thing open. Yeah, being a Mac IIfx member, yeah, we do go through a lot of the same things. I mean, when you consider, now admittedly, Jay had his microscope and I had my microscope before we knew each other, but we worked very hard to get Steve to buy a microscope, and we did. We got him to buy one, so yeah. Mac IIfx, yeah. So anyone who's not aware of Mac IIfx, I should mention that it is a group of Mac-minded people who get together on a weekly basis, and we have a little sort of live stream show, and we talk about everything sort of to do with Apple and Mac. We don't just sit there and go, oh, we have a Mac and we love them. We talk about the problems associated. We talk about the culture at Apple. We talk about Apple's good things, bad things, successes, failures, annoyances. We talk about where we think Apple is going. We talk about the hardware that they make. We talk about their vintage stuff. A lot of talk about their vintage stuff. If I have anything to say about it, that's for sure. And so yeah, if anyone who has not heard of the show and wants to give it a try, it's what is it, US Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Thursdays, I think, from memory, every week. Jump on, subscribe, you get a notification when we go live. It's generally a 90-minute show, and we try and keep it light. We bounce off each other and keep things, you know, funny as much as possible. So jump on and check it out. Yeah, that's that. Right, so I've got this thing all warmed up now. Sometimes when I clean things, I push the cables out of the way and then I can't access anything anymore. Let's suck some solder. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Oh, don't tell me you're clogged up already. Dag nabbit. One of the problems with these cheap ones, they do clog up a lot. Someone sent me a mod, I can't remember. Someone sent me a mod where you can actually... You can increase the suction on these. It's very tempting. Something's clogged. Okay, so that's alright. We're a bit clogged up in here, I guess. There's a nice big glob of solder here. This is solder I have sucked out. Yeah, big nugget. Ba-ba-ba-bam. Does it nearly break into the Thunderbirds theme song there? Dun, da, 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 da. Okay, suck on again. Now, I know Thunderbird 1 was the Scout, but I think most people all preferred Thunderbird 2. Because it had the pods. Right, I think this thing should just fall out now. Unless I missed one. Anything's possible. Here we go! Here's a transformer! Yay! Transformers. More than meets the eye. So we're going to pull this apart. Unfortunately, these weren't really made to be pulled apart. A little bit problematic. It's wrapped with tape around the outside, which I'm going to undo. If I can just find where the tape starts. Don't you hate that? You know, it's like when you're trying to get tape off a roll and you just can't figure where the beginning is. Is it there? I can't tell. Alright, is it right on the edge here? I do not have DND disabled. I generally don't disable it when I'm doing my live streams, just in case like my missus wants to text me or something like that. It just comes up on my watch. So, do you have a question for me, Jay? Or are you just going to nag me? Oh dear, Jay sending me silly stuff. Oh, that was Steve actually sent that. Right, so I've taken the tape off that. Now, first time I did this, I did one of these. I actually tried to unwind it without separating this, and it was an absolute nightmare. So, but this is glued together, and trying to open this thing up without breaking it is a little on the difficult side. So here's me probably about to break this, and then it will all have to be held together with tape. Let me... So the stuff around the outside is basically just ferrite. That's what's in the guts of transformers. Autobots. That's what you want to. That's what I always want to say when someone says transformer. Roll out. Right. I used to do that for my nephew because he was into Transformers. So when I used to see him, I used to go out and say, "Autobots, roll out," because I have a fairly deep voice. All right. So can I get this apart? There's me. I've just broken one bit. Okay. How does one understand an appropriate replacement for transformer? Well, in this instance here, there's kind of... Well, there are probably ways of measuring these to get them the same, but I don't know enough about sort of transformers, and there's nothing written on this. This is a custom wound one. So so what I'm going to do, let me just try something here. Oh, whoopsie. Whoopsie. Ow, whoopsie. So what I will basically be doing in this is I'll be unrolling it. I will measure the length of the wire, and then I will replicate that the same length, and then re-roll it, rewrap it. I've done it with the others, and it's worked. It's been good. There's probably an electronics expert out there that will say, "No, you're doing it wrong." Feel free to do that. I can't say it'll actually change what I do, but I do like to know if I am doing things wrong. Just keeping in mind that I'm not an electronics engineer, I am a computer programmer. Yeah. How about that? I need some focus, don't I? Ah, there we go. I mean, I've broken it, but I can tape it together. So let's get some focus going on here. Oh wow, what have I done? I accidentally made this full screen. Yeah, it's better. That's better. Tell you what, I'm going to just put this on autofocus for a bit, which I know sucks because it goes all the time, but it's probably going to just be easier for what I'm doing here. So we've got that busted there and there. Then it's also joined in the inside, and I need to snap that out. And there's kind of, I'm just going to do more damage to it basically. One of these I did, and it just came apart perfectly, just snapped into two, exactly the way I wanted it to, and everything was fine. The only one though. If someone has a method for pulling these apart without completely destroying them, now's the time to pipe up. Eh. It's just breaking everything. This one could be one that I don't actually get fixed. It's always possible. It will be the first. I've fixed every other one. But there's the first time for everything. Need something like a screwdriver. This is a good one. This one's mangled. Don't mind using a mangled one for this. Oh my goodness, the pigeons! You're driving me mad! I got rid of them. Didn't realise how noisy it was until it was quiet. Now my chicken's going. Heating it up first. I like it. Uh-oh. There we go. Do-do-do. The main problem is that it's the inside that I need to split it apart, and I just can't get any kind of real leverage. Here's another bit that's going to come off. There we go. Oh, I've broken another bit off. Shall we just keep breaking bits off it? I mean, at a certain point, I'll have broken so much of it that I'll be able to unwrap it. I mean, I have never had one come apart this badly. There we go. Right, so can I put this jigsaw puzzle back together again afterwards? That remains to be seen. Okay, so there's one wrap there. Let's take some photos. Yeah. Oh well. And you can just buy like from RS Components, I'm pretty sure they just sell these, and then you can just, do them yourself. So, oh god, that stinks. It definitely looks like I'm going to be running with 3 transformers for a little while, doesn't it? Oh yeah, that works. That works. That works. Off he comes. Okay, all right. Isn't it easier to just buy a replacement? You talk about the whole power supply or this transformer. The problem with this transformer is that I have no spec on this. So it's something that has been custom wound for this power supply. So it's not like I can just, go out and say I'll have a, 421B or something like that. What I can potentially do is just buy a replacement empty transformer and then just wrap it, which you can do. Undo. Okay, there's that. Oh, now it's falling apart. Alright, now we need to excuse me, unwrap it some more. 3D printer replacement. Well, I can 3D print some of it. I can't 3D print ferrite. Looking to find the bad spot. I will find a bad spot here eventually. So this is basically what I have to measure. As I say, it's 0.8mm wire. It's cheap stuff. It's rubbish. It's to be expected. I will replace it with better stuff. Okay. Oh, and there's a bit falling off. A bit broken stuff. Yeah. Okay. So that's one piece of wire. I need to measure that one. Having said that, this one seems pretty intact. I suspect the problem we'll find will be this next wrap in here. So, sorry. I just have to move the camera there. Sorry. Oops, I'm just dribbling super glue everywhere. I was doing some stuff with super glue the other day. I got it all over my fingers and I actually joined two of my fingers together. That was fun. I mean, I get super glue on my fingers all the time, but normally it's not that bad. Just pull them apart. But this time they were really proper stuck. And I thought, well done, Bruce. You deserve a prize for that. And guess what your prize is? Acetone. Need my goggles, can't see anything. Okay, so continuing with the fun, let's get this tape off. See, this wire that they've used to wrap, it's not a solid wire, it's not like a solid core wire, it's lots and lots of little tiny thin strands that are then coated, and it's not good. It doesn't last. Okay, I need to take more photos. Sorry about the boringness of this, folks. I mean, you know, I know I'm wrecking things. That can kind of be fun sometimes. I won't submit you to me rewinding this. That will just be way too boring. This is just more of a discovery process than anything. I will eventually get to the point where I've rewound all of these, and then I should be fine. I've already done 3. There are a total of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there are a total of 8, and I think I've done 4. So I've done half of them. Here we go. Off comes the tape. And so I don't feel like I've found the smoking gun yet. Because having done these before, I really do see the problems. What messages are there? Who's... Okay. Ba, 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 ba. Do you think I'll remember how this all goes back together? I would say maybe. Do you know what I am going to buy? Because these, unfortunately, oh no, these come from China. Well, dag nabbit. I really haven't found anything too bad here. That's not what I wanted. I wanted it to be like, oh yeah, there it is. That certainly was the case with the other ones. Okay, okay. Looking. So, have I just unraveled a perfectly good transformer? I mean, it stinks. It does smell melted, but I don't see anything particularly bad here. Well, darn it. Gosh darn it. I'll be particularly annoyed if the problem's on this one here and I unraveled that one without any need to. It's funny how I feel the motivation of wrapping this up again, just slowly drifting away. Drift. You know what I should have done? How stupid am I? I should have grabbed one of the power supplies and swapped over the transformers to absolutely and definitively figure out which transformer was giving him a problem. Okay. Well, wasn't that interesting? I'm not sure I did actually find the right problem, but this one doesn't smell though. No, that one doesn't smell at all. Oh well. Oh well. I guess it is that one. But... Okay, well, I think at this point I will probably start to wrap things up, only because it is 3 p.m. here, and I don't think I've had lunch. I'm going to have something to eat, and all that. So, thank you for sitting here and watching me unravel the transformer. That was a lot of fun for me. I hope it was for you too. And at least we got the Mac IIfx all recapped and working, wasn't it? No. Check the wires for continuity. Well, with the ones that I had before, the bad ones, there was still continuity, but what had happened is the coating had melted through, where it was wrapping around like that, where like one layer was melting onto the next layer, so it was actually making contact too early. So the wire still did have continuity, but it was the coating had melted, and so they'd kind of fused together inside the transformer. So I expect the continuity will be fine on that wire. What I was looking for are little burn marks that show where it might have actually melted through, but I didn't see any. So let's get this little pile of transformer here and put it into a container, just in case I do actually put it back together again, which I don't think I'm going to do. I'm probably just going to buy another power supply. I don't think you can buy the power supplies on their own. I'm not sure you can buy them without the transducers, but it's probably not a bad idea to have a couple of spare transducers just in case as well. Wow, look at all those bits. Yeah, I mean, even if I wrapped it up again, I'm never going to be able to get that the same. Oh well. Yes, quick reminder to everyone to smash that like button. It would be nice for folks to like the video if they liked it, and if you don't like it, feel free to give it a thumbs down as well. Fine by me. And yes, of course, the fact that it is not actually called a like button, it's just a thumbs up, but we call it a like button. Isn't that bizarre? So thanks again for joining me. Once again, my apologies to anyone who's got work with me at the moment, or people who enjoy watching my channel and have found that I'm a little bit on the slow side, a little bit on the slack side. Haven't been doing many live streams lately. I am going to try and remedy that, trying to get a little bit more content happening. I am working on my build your own SCSI to SD video at the moment. We're very close to completion on that. I've just got to film a bit of stuff, which I might even try and do this afternoon. Yeah, so oops, I just melted that onto that. That was smart. So let me just go across here. Does anyone have any questions before I disappear into the sunset? It's cooling down now. Oh yeah, it's dropped down by 3 degrees. That's not outside though. It's getting cooler in here. It's, as I said before, once the sun is not shining directly on this gets cooler. But it's 40 degrees Celsius outside. Yay! So espresso machine for that shit. Yes, I do. Not a huge coffee drinker, but I do like an occasional one. He has to Steve had to go tend to the bunnies. So Steve, terrible. Best place to get boards to practice on. What I would say is you can practice on anything. So you can practice on the guts of an old VCR or an old Windows machine. You know, in terms. What you can also do is, people do often end up on Facebook posting when they've had a battery explosion on a board, and you can just ask them, say, hey, look, can I have the board? You know, I just want it for parts, if they're not wanting to keep it themselves. I've got a stack of parts boards here where people have sent me stuff, said it can be repaired, and I've said nope. And you know, they just say, well, just keep the board, and I just keep it piled there with the parts boards. So 44. Haha, lucky you, Thomas. Best place to get boards to practice on. Yeah, I was answering that one. Just checking to make sure I missed anything. No more questions. Okay, all good. I think we will wrap it up now. So thanks again, everyone, for watching and keeping me company. I will hopefully see you at the next one. We are very quickly heading towards the old 10,000 subscriber on my channel at the moment. So thank you to everyone who has been making that happen. That's you know, a big old thing for me. That'll probably be in the next couple of weeks, I would say. I'll probably hit 10K. So, and okay, everyone say goodbye. So that's my cue. All right. So thanks everyone, and I will see you at the next one. Hope you have a good Saturday night, Sunday, whatever day it happens to be there, and I will see you at the next one. Bye.